For the beginning numismatic collector, collecting banknotes remains affordable, and the large number of printed assignats make them attractive collector's documents. This video describes the creation and early days of the assignats put into circulation during the period of the French Revolution in 1789 and 1790, before the time when the French government, the National Convention, decided to introduce the franc as national currency in the decimal/metric system on the proposal of Talleyrand. Welcome to the History Channel 26, dedicated to historical objects to collect and study. Seals, numismatics, heraldry, philately, calligraphy. Before the Revolution, the royal finances were in a very worrying state, with a debt estimated at between 4 and 5 billion livres, with half of the royal budget used to reduce this debt, which continued to increase. On May 5, 1789, at the opening of the Estates General, Jacques Necker proposed the issuance of a national paper via the Caisse d'Escompte, which would then be allocated to settling the public debt. He was joined by Mirabeau, who declared that we must banish from the language this infamous word, paper money. On November 2, 1789, the National Constituent Assembly decided that all the property of the clergy would be placed at the disposal of the nation. These assets would henceforth be national property, intended to be auctioned to replenish the state coffers. It was decided to create, on the very day the extraordinary fund was opened, notes whose value was assigned, in other words, pledged, on the clergy's assets. Hence the name assignat. The extraordinary fund managed the funds from the sale of national property and met the expenses of the public treasury. The Caisse d'Escompte, for its part, ensured payments until July 1790 and saw its own bills endorsed with assignats. On April 17, 1790, the assignat was transformed into paper money. It was therefore legal tender. And the state, always short of cash, used it for all its current expenses. The state did not destroy the assignats it recovered. Worse still, it printed more assignats than the real value of national assets. Jacques Necker, then Minister of Finance, resolutely opposed the transformation of the assignat into paper money. He resigned in September. The law of March 15, 1791, ordered the exchange of Caisse d'Escompte's bills for assignats, which thus became the only paper currency. If you have a banknote from this collection or are looking for a specific signature, do not hesitate to leave a comment below the video. Leave a comment if you are interested in any particular information from this video. In the pre-revolutionary monetary system, bronze, silver, and gold coins coexisted. The royal coins before 1789 are as follows: copper, 1 liard or 3 deniers, 1/2 sou or 6 deniers, 12 deniers or 1 sou. Silver, 6 sols, 12 sols, 24 sols, 1/2 écu or 3 livres, 1 écu or 6 livres. Gold, 1/2 louis or 12 livres, 1 louis or 24 livres, 1 double louis or 48 livres. Note that 12 deniers equal 1 sou, 20 sous equal 1 livre, or 1 livre equals 20 sous or 240 deniers. Speech of May 5, 1789 by Jacques Necker, Minister of Finance, initiator of the loan.
There is not a moment to lose in collecting this sum. I believe that we should not seek to decide confidence by high interests. It is not from speculation that we should expect help in the present circumstances, but from a generous and patriotic sentiment. I therefore propose that the loan be simply at 5% per year. Several notebooks, no doubt, have demanded that the Constitution be settled before consent to any tax, to any loan. But could one foresee the difficulties that have delayed your work? Could one foresee the unheard of revolution that has occurred for 3 weeks? The king, gentlemen, is willing to support your views, and the ministers to whom he has given his confidence will use them according to his intentions to contribute with you to the happiness of the nation.
The creation of a paper currency was decided by decree of November 2, 1789. In December 1789, the Constituent Assembly issued assignats for a value of 400 million to be used on the purchase of ecclesiastical property that served as collateral for the loan. The first assignats were not intended for the population, but to be kept by investors. This would be without taking into account the economic situation of France, the speculation of the banks, and the speculative concealment of flour stocks that began in 1755, at a time when bread was the main source of food. The large amounts displayed by the first assignats put the equivalent amounts in gold and silver metal currency out of circulation. Gold and silver went out of common use in commerce. The coins then began to be in short supply among the population, and the state authorizes the issue of small notes, 5, 10, or 25 sous. On April 17, 1790, the assignat is transformed into paper money. The state sees it as a way to pay its current expenses and prints more assignats than the real value of the clergy's assets, which have become national assets. Mirabeau's speech in 1790 in favor of the loan.
We have a pressing need of means to support business, and the assignat monnaie, besides repaying the national debt, will also provide a greater source of economic activity.
And response from Charles Maurice Talleyrand Perigord in favor of the confiscation of the clergy's assets, but hostile to assignats.
In reality, there is at present only one dominant currency, that of silver. If you circulate paper, it will be paper. You can, I grant, order that this paper shall not lose its value, but you will not be able to prevent silver from increasing in value, which will amount to the same thing. You will make a 1,000 pound assignat acceptable for the sum of 1,000 pounds. But you will never be able to force anyone to give 1,000 pounds in silver for a 1,000 pound assignat. And because of that, the whole system will collapse.
Who, Mirabeau or Talleyrand, will have been right in the end? Answer at the end of the video.